I've got a 9-pound, 4-bone USDA choice ribeye roast, and today I'm going to be smoking it out on the Weber Kettle. Now for this 9-pound ribeye roast, I'm going to be making a rub. It's got 6 ingredients. Well, kind of 6-ish, because one of the ingredients is actually another rub, a Desert Gold rub from Big Papa Smokers. I really love that rub. So let's get started. So here's a tablespoon of that Desert Gold rub, a tablespoon of ground sage, it's kind of the sage that's been rubbed, tablespoon of ground black pepper, tablespoon of coarse kosher salt, tablespoon of paprika, and a tablespoon of granulated garlic. Just going to give this a good mix here. Let's get a little taste. I like that. That's going to be good. All right, let's get this on our ribeye roast. So here is our ribeye roast. You can see it's been tied by the butcher to hold it together. We're just going to leave that alone until the very end when we're ready to cut into it. Let's get this rub on. A good coating. Want to make sure you get the ends also. This other end. So look at that beautiful meat on there. Get our backside here. I want to get a really good coating on the top here, so I'm just going to sprinkle the rest of my rub and work it around. Work it around here. There we go. This is going to go into the refrigerator now for about an hour while I get the Weber Kettle going and up to temp. I'm going to be using the slow and sear today, and as you see, I've got a bunch of smothered charcoal and a couple pieces of fresh charcoal for my starter pile here. Let's get this going. Just using my propane torch to get it going. Okay, our starter pile of charcoal in the slow and sear is getting going. Let me show you the rest of the setup before I put the cooking grate on. So I have a foil pan that's going to serve as a drip pan for underneath the ribeye roast. Just going to catch drippings. I'm not planning to use them for anything. I don't actually like to use the drippings from below the cooking grate in the kettle. You can get lots of things in them. That's just my personal preference. I will use stuff from the oven. Out here you have less control. You got ash flying places, so I just prefer not to. So we're going to give this a few more minutes to catch. I'll add the rest of my charcoal, then we'll get our ribeye roast on. All right, the starter pile is ready. Let's add the rest of our charcoal. Just want to arrange this a little bit. We're going to give this a minute fully open so there's plenty of air in there so that new batch of charcoal can catch from the starter pile. You might notice I also had some smothered charcoal at the opposite end, just using that up too. Might as well. I'm going to go ahead and get my cooking grate on. I'm going to open this wing because that's where we're going to add our wood. So I want to place my ambient temperature probe here, right about there. I want to get the lid on now, start building up some temp before we put our roast on. Then I will dial in the temperature a little closer. All right, the kettle is up to temp. We're showing 246. I'm going to try and keep it between 225 and 250 today. If it goes up to 275, I'm fine with that. But I'd like to keep it in the lower end of that range. So let's go ahead and get our ribeye roast on. All right. I'm going to place it right here, just over the drip pan. I'm going to get my internal meat probe as dead in the center here as I can. Get between these bones. That's good, showing 40 degrees internal. Just came out of the refrigerator. That's perfect. I think we hit a good spot. Okay, I want to get a piece of wood on here. I'm going to be smoking with hickory today. I'm just going to lay it here because I know it's going to start from one end and work its way to the other and give us some beautiful smoke. So we're just going to let that catch. All right, our hickory is catching. Time to get the lid on. Start smoking. As I mentioned, I'm gonna try and keep the kettle somewhere in the 250 range, hopefully a little below that, between 225 and 250. If it goes up to 275, I'm okay with that. The ultimate temperature that I'm taking this ribeye roast to is 133 degrees internal. I know that sounds pretty specific, but I've done several of these, probably 10 to 15 at that temperature, and they pretty much all turn out just the way I want them. So for me, pulling it at 133 and then covering it with foil and letting it rest for about half an hour, it tends to come out just the way I want it. So now let's try and dial in these vents. My upper vent I'm gonna set at about a half right now. Right about there. My lower vent I'm gonna set at the 2/3 mark. Right now we're showing 251 degrees kettle temp, so I'll be monitoring these and see if I need to choke down. That bottom vent will probably go down first to about 1/3, but we'll see. I'll watch it for the next 5 or 10 minutes. All right, I'll bring you back in about an hour when we take a look at it. All right, we are just about an hour in, and you can see the kettle temp's at 259, meat temp 49. The kettle's been ranging anywhere between 245 and 260, so it's in that middle range. I wish it was a little lower, but I really don't want to choke the vents down anymore. I want to keep good smoke going and I want good airflow. So let's see how we're doing. Our roast is looking good. You can see where we got a little bit of a gap there where that sort of membrane over the top stretched and pulled the rub away. That's all right, but it's looking nice. Starting to just begin that little bit of a bark formation. I don't feel any need to spritz this right now. There's a good amount of moisture in the chamber still with the reservoir from the slow and sear. I can always add more. I could spritz it if I decide to, but right now I'm just gonna let it ride. Our wood is going good, don't need to add any right now. I'm guessing in about an hour I'll probably add a second piece of hickory. But right now let's get the lid back on and let it keep cooking. All right, we've been going a little over 2 hours. You can see our kettle temp's raced up a little high, 283. I just choked the vents down a little bit. The internal meat temperature looks like it's 93 degrees, so 40 degrees to go. And want to take a look at it, and I think I might spritz it depending on how it looks, but definitely going to add another piece of hickory right now. You can see how that outer sort of layer of fat, that membrane is pulled back even more, exposing some of the meat underneath. You know, if you wanted to, you could put more rub on here and cover that. It doesn't really matter. The flavor is in the meat right now too. So I am going to spritz this a little bit. So this is a 5-to-1 mixture of apple juice and apple cider vinegar. 5 parts apple juice, 1 part apple cider vinegar. I'm going to get a fresh piece of hickory on here now. All right, our hickory is starting to catch. Let's get our lid back on and keep cooking. I'll bring you back when it's time to pull this ribeye roast. All right, it is about 3 hours and 40 minutes. You can see that our kettle temp's 264, so kind of at the upper, actually above the upper that I wanted. I wanted 225 to 250, and it has stayed between 250 and 265 most of the day, so it just ran quick. That's why we're at 3 hours and 40 minutes. And internal temp 132, so I want to check it now with the instant read and confirm that we're right at that 133 temperature that I'm shooting for. Now in this bare part right here, I mentioned earlier that what you can do is go ahead and add some rub. That's what I did actually. I sprinkled some leftover rub on there after a shot of the spritz. So that's why we have some color there now. Easy repair if your fat pulls back. All right, let's go ahead and see if we can kind of confirm our temperature there. You can see that the instant read's showing just a little higher, so I might have gone a little past, but it's good. It's time to take it off. Let's get our probe out of there. The last little bit of our hickory decided to ignite. I'm gonna go ahead and get this roast off. Gonna get that inside, cover it in foil for half an hour. All right. Here is our smoked ribeye roast. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the strings that are holding it together. And if you'll notice, I have my cutting board sitting inside a tray because I fear there's going to be a juice-a-lanch. You never know. Get these other strings out of there. I'm just going to go straight down the middle. Remember, it'll cook more on the outside, so if you have people who like it a little more well done, out here is going to be their thing. In the center is kind of like more of the rare, medium rare. Hopefully. Let's see. I think we did okay. Oh, I would say that looks okay. Very happy with that. I'm not even gonna press down and squeeze juice out. There's juice there, you can see it. Nice medium rare center. I'm gonna cut a slice here in just a second, but oh man, this looks and smells good. I'm gonna slide this little part back here so I can get a slice right here. Oh, there we go. Can I please say this now? It's time to taste. All right, here we go. Smoked ribeye roast. I'm just going plain first. I've got a little bowl over here of some horseradish, but I just want to taste it on its own. So let's see. No. You can't beat this for tenderness, juiciness, and if you get it to that medium rare, the way I like it, if you like it more cooked, you can cook it longer. You can take slices from further on towards the end of the ribeye roast, but this center, medium rare, is just killer. That bark that remained on the outside, it's got great flavor. In fact, this piece right here has got more of it. I want to taste that. That mixture that we used of the 6-ish herbs and spices, including the Desert Gold rub from Big Papa Smokers, really works well on this. If you don't have that rub, you can substitute another rub or nothing at all. Those 5 herbs and spices that you have right there that were included work really well. You don't really need any more than that. I just really like that rub. And now I'm gonna go for some with some horseradish on it, because seriously, horseradish goes great on this. Let's see. Wow, that is just really good. Total cook time was about 3 hours and 40 minutes. Normally it would take longer. It just ran a little hotter than I had expected today. I wanted it to run between 225 and 250, and really it was closer to that 250 to 260 range throughout most of the cook. But you know what? No worse for wear. It tastes great, and it finished a little quicker. So if you want to do a roast for Christmas, for New Year's, for Thanksgiving, for any special occasion, a ribeye roast smoked in this way, you cannot argue with these results. It is just amazing.